North Carolina junior, Henri Veesaar, Metcalf. We've been trying to get the No Ceilings guys to fall in love with them, but I think we're stuck on this one. So Henri Veesaar,
could do
7 foot, about 230. He's a junior. He transferred from Arizona. He's originally from Estonia. 22. He'll be 22 years old at the draft. His birthday is in March, so he'll be turning 22 right before then. Unbelievable numbers so far this year. He's at 17.4 points, 9 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 1.1 blocks, shooting splits of 65-53, 65 from the free throw line. That's in 17 games and 30 minutes. Talk to me about Henri. Are you still in love as much as possible?
Course. Yeah, I still don't get what the hesitation is. And last year was always, oh, well, he can't really defensive rebound. Okay, check. Fix that. Defensive rebounding rate up to 21.7, offensive rebounding rate 8.9, effective field goal rate 72.2, block rate 3.7. That could be better. 69.5% on 2, 53.5% from 3 on almost 5 attempts per 100. I don't think Veesaar is going to be an all-NBA guy. I don't think he's going to be an all-defensive team guy. I think he's going to be one of those fringe starters for 10 years. I just think he's super good, really consistent, really versatile, and really, really low maintenance. He's not one of these guys that's going to go out there and try and create his own shot and play outside of who he is. He's going to pick and pop. He's going to rim run. He's going to rebound, and he's going to wreak havoc on defense. And that's what he's always done. That's what he's done this year. And just some of his play types per synergy, 74th percentile as a pick and roll man, 92nd percentile on cuts, 71st percentile on post-ups, 100th percentile on spot-ups. Low volume, but I think only 22 possessions of that. 99th percentile on all jumpers, 98th percentile on shooting off the catch. And he ranks in the 86th percentile in frequency for that in terms of his own shot distribution. But then 94th percentile at the rim. So when you just want like a rim running pick and pop big, boom, here's a 7-footer who played at Arizona, North Carolina, had a ton of success at both. I don't know what else he needs to do.
Look, I've watched him in Arizona, fell in love with him at Arizona. North Carolina, I've seen the same player, except he got better. This is the thing with Henri, and this is my big draft philosophy is like, okay, whenever you're making a big board, whenever you're scouting, if you're out there doing this, if you're listening, first of all, we love you. But I wrote an article a couple of years ago, and I'm like, hey, it's overthinking season. We're not approaching it yet, but maybe I'll bring that one back. But there's a time in the year where you're overthinking. You've watched so much film, you've thought back and forth about a prospect, you're overthinking. So what sometimes helps me is I will go through my board and be like, the negatives, who has real negatives I'm concerned about? Like, who has real ones that and then whose am I just, I'm trying to make this a bigger deal than it is. So like with Veesaar's good. He's really good. And my joke is always like, draft good players. And what I mean by that is like, if they do a lot of really good things, don't blow up don't blow up like, hey, I've always said Veesaar's a finesse big. And what I mean by that is like, you can't put him in there at the 5 to just bully and out rebound people all the time, because he's not going to be able to throw people around. You know, your boy, Johan Berenger, he's not that way right now. Could he add some weight and get that way? Absolutely. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get some girth and stuff. Yeah. Veesaar's never been that way. He's a floor spacing pick and pop dream for a point guard. And he knows how to play his way. He's a really underrated playmaker. He's a smart off ball guy. He knows where to position himself. He knows how to get, a lot of, and I'm not saying cheap points, but he knows how to get a lot of smart points, strategic points of being like, we slide over to the dunker spot a little bit because Caleb Wilson's driving, so there's a really intelligent player there. And then you get a 7-foot smart floor spacer who knows when to take his shots. Like, he doesn't jack up threes all the time, but like when you're wide open, he's easily knocks those down. I think he's just really good. I think this is a guy that, you draft him, and then all of a sudden he's gonna get paid. Like this is one of those guys where it's like he might not be all NBA, but he's gonna get paid because he's a nice piece to have.
I had a first round grade on him last year before he decided to transfer immediately after the season was over. A handful of NBA people I talked to also had him in that late first, and when he went back, they were shocked and kind of disappointed because he's one of these guys that I think teams were hoping to be able to swing on and snag in that late first, early second range. Apparently, they can just get him in that same range now, anyways, because no one loves this dude. Then just so it's not all sunshine and rainbows, he is skinny. He does need to get a lot stronger. The lower body strength isn't where it needs to be. The rebounding, especially on the defensive end, has improved a ton this year compared to where it was last year. But the bigger bigs are still going to be able to fold them in half when they want to. They're going to be able to throw their body around. A guy like Jonas Valanciunas scares me a little bit if Veesaar has to really defend him on the post up or boxing him out. It's probably not going to go great. But again, Valanciunas is one of the strongest dudes in the league and does that to everybody. So there will be some learning and craft and strength gain that has to accompany all of that. But it is a very real weakness for him, both on the eval and physically.
The reason why I think he could go later is exactly what you just said, because I think teams can look and be like, yeah, he's skinny though, because he's a 7-footer, but you can't play him at the 5 at the next level. Now you can if you're like, hey, we're gonna play small. We're going to live with it, but our small ball is him at the 5, which is a really dangerous, fun idea. If you're just like, hey, at times we're going to play him at the 5, you're like, oh gosh, that's legit 5 out because he can shoot. But
if you're Toronto at 21,
that's what I'm looking at right now.
Like with how beefy their forwards and wings are, I love that fit.
I like that. I mean, OKC with anyone.
Charlotte.
I really like him with the Knicks. It's still one of my favorite fits. It's like him with the Knicks, but like
the Lakers.
Look, like Minnesota. They probably wouldn't do it, but like, doesn't that give you a fun little like, my thinking is like Gobert and Veesaar. It's like, okay,
how dare you throw my sweet prince Johan Berenger, who just dominated the Bucks, who is a plus 30 against Giannis.
Berenger is going to be fantastic. I'm just saying, like, the idea of like you get some muscle, some legit, just gigantic next to Vasar, and then you're a real problem to deal with, because I think of Henry as more of a forward in a 7-foot body. Like he's more of like your traditional, like, most of these guys are 6'8", 6'9" on the perimeter, and he just plays strategically like I've got all this extra height. It's almost like Thomas Hauk at 7 foot in a weird way. It's just kind of, he's got a unique thing that you don't see a lot. And I think he's going to be able to shoot it at an efficient level at the next level too. I think he's a really smart player.
A sniper from outside this year.
Well, because people leave him open and he's got a good shot. So he's just like, this is me in the gym by myself. So half of his shots are just no one covers them, because he's like, okay.
I forget which game it was, but it's one of UNC's early games in the year against one of their bigger opponents. So it wasn't against a nobody, but I think it was the first half. He is just exclusively pick and pop, and he hit 3 or 4 threes. And coming out of halftime, whoever they were playing guarded him totally different, started switching that, and then he was like, all right, cool, I'll just go rim run and dunk on you constantly. And then he got another 8 to 10 points at the rim because of that. It's like that type of versatility. We had flashes of it last year at Arizona. Now we're getting it just every possession.
And look, it's not just like, pick and pop. Like, he plays with his hair on fire. He's really competitive. There's hustles.
Sneaky passing stuff.
There's the passing is since Arizona.
Yeah.
Because look, Krivas goes down for Arizona last year, and I was like, they might be in trouble. But Veesaar off the bench, I was like, this guy needs to play more. And then they put him in, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my goodness, he's fantastic, and the assist numbers don't back up how good of a passer he is. Now, he's had some games where he has some nice box scores, like against Ohio State, he had 17, 10, and 5, but most of these games are, 3 assists, 2 assists, 2 assists. It's just really smart connecting, and then like legit rim runner, lob threat, who can throw down with some anger, throw up, classic. Okay. Any other thoughts, Metcalf, on Vasar?
No.
Good.